trying to work out what the go is with this. Engine light's still on. Now, I've been in contact with the rapid bike people. It's highly unlikely that it's the rapid bike module. It seems weird that this only happens every time I get fuel. So, is it just bad fuel and I've got to run it through the system and get it out? I don't know. One thing I can do is I can start by checking all the fuses and going from there. So, yeah. Bit of a pain in the bum, but that's what we have to do. Otherwise, the family's coming over next week. I'm getting them to bring the baffle for the muffler. Then I can disconnect all the rapid wiring harness, which I might even end up doing today. I'm running it back as completely stock and see if that fixes it. But given that it's got a little bit of a rough idle, yeah, it's a weird one. Like, I'll start it up now, like the helmet's on the back here. I did that 10 minutes ago. I've just been waiting for the rain. The engine light was still on and it was running like a bag of crap. Engine light's off and it's running fine. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's one of those trips, I tell you. Alright. Wow. Let's get out of here while everything's working fine. Alright, I'm going to turn you off, put my stuff on and get to the border border patrol, and they'll see if I've got any food. Actually, I want to get some food. I'll see if they've got any food. Alright, that's where I slept, as you can see. Nice little place. The highway is like 5 k's that way. You can just see a slow moving caravan. Nullabor Roadhouse is over there somewhere, 15 k's. The food border people are. So we'll go have a chat to them. So just after you get back onto the main road, I think it's about 10 k's up the road, on the left, take a little side trip and start heading out towards the Nullabor cliffs. It's pretty good. This takes you all the way to the water's edge, to the cliffs. There's no way you'd be able to do this in Victoria. This would be all blocked off. No past. You wouldn't be able to go past here, that's for sure. That'd be about as far as you could go, and especially not all the way to the cliffs. It's pretty busy here. Like, along this whole Nullabor strip, there's the place where you can go pay to watch whales, but geez, like, why would you go all the way up there to pretty much have the same view? It's just a pity it was a bit of a rough day. It was spitting rain. It wasn't the best, but yeah, there's been heaps of people camping out here, that's for sure. Right on the cliff's edge. Just trying to find a spot to park and get a good view, but yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. To come back one day with a 4B and just set up camp and take some photos, I think. Right, got to check this out. Take that with me. There's been people camping here. There's like fire pits over there. Probably set up in their combis, being all hippies and, oh, look, we're up camping. Put their drone up. I'm not going to do that today. Yeah, she's a long way down. You can hear the highway. Victoria would have this closed off like no tomorrow. Well, even further down the road, you have to pay $9 per person to get into this close to see if you can see any whales. Just come here. The whales are going to be here or down there. They're not just going to hang out in one little area. Where are we? Nullabor Cliffs, look out. That's cool. Can we see any sharks? Cool. Any tankers on the horizon? Can't see any. Now all we need is a nice day. We'll get some photos. Along parts of the Nullabor and other big sections of roads in the outback, you'll come across these sections. So if you're unfamiliar with what they are, you come across and you'll see all the big stripes here. It looks like a runway. It's because it is a runway. So these are emergency runways that are generally used for Royal Flying Doctors to get people in and out in case of an accident. And they're very, very sparse along the Nullabor and other big tracks. $3 a litre. Jeepers. Just make sure I read that right. Yeah, $2.99 a litre. It's more expensive here than in the middle of the outback. Not even joking. I think what, $2.70 at Inaminka, or $2.60 something at Inaminka. It's nuts. Alright, I'll get some fuel and stuff here, and then we'll go through quarantine checkpoint over there, because Western Australia think that they're their own little country. So welcome to Western Australia. For fuck's sake. Well, the morning did start good, and now I was just moving my bike from the servo, and it started to fall. I went to grab it really quick, sliced my thumb open, big flap of skin hanging off, on my indicator stalk, and now I don't have any indicators because the button's all munted. And having a look, doesn't look like it's an easy one to get off. Like, don't have hazards. Yep, got hazards. No left, no right. Great. Just gets better and better, doesn't it? I'm better off taking that skin off, I think. That's a decent chunk. Yeah, fun. I do have some in my bag, but I just managed to get some. I'm gonna go in the servo. So annoying, I don't think I can fix that at all. All because I was just being nice and moving my bike out of the way. Cars coming in. Never again. Always start it up and move it. Don't just put it in neutral and push it. Because that's what happens. You lose grip on your feet and you start to slip. I didn't drop the bike though. She was about to go. She's nearly going to go, but I didn't. Just took a big chunk out of my thumb again and somehow broken the indicator stalk. Alright, I'm going to have a coffee and work this out. Alrighty, here's where I'm at. Just spoke to Ducati in Perth. I've got this booked in to get looked at on Monday. They're also a Rapid Evo dealer, distributor. They've installed them before, so they can actually plug in their laptop and see what's going on, so that's good. The problem I've got is I'm going to run out of time to get the steep point, so a bit annoying. But yeah, I don't have any indicators, and he said once they pull these apart they pretty much go to the mess, so they don't have one in stock. They possibly try and get one. It's just lucky I'm in Perth for a bit over a week, so they're going to see what they can do. It's still legal to use hand signals, so that's no biggie. Done something to my wrist as well, all for trying to help someone just to move your bike out of the way of the servo so they can get in. Not doing that again, that's for sure. Hands just, if I had my gloves on it would have been okay, but I'm just moving the bike out of the way. Just went to push it, foot slipped, hand slipped, thumb went through the edge of the indicator switch, and now she's munted. Yeah, alright, I'll stop. Constant little drizzle here, so 1400 k's to get to Perth. Got a few days to do it, so I got 3 days. It's enough. Don't know where I'm going to get to tonight, but I'm going to try and get a motel, I think. So about 80 k's further down the road, come across Mundrabilla Roadhouse. Thought I'd stop and get some breakfast, because at the border crossing I just got coffee and was trying to sort out the issues with the bike, and waited for the rain to stop, and then it stopped, and I thought, well, I'm just going to get going. I don't want to get caught in the rain again, so come across this place and I thought, well, I'll try and get some fuel just to top up while I'm here, but there doesn't seem to be anything. There was brand new pumps where the concrete had just been poured, and I thought I'd go check out over here, because sometimes they have little fuel canisters or unleaded in these big portables, but just this one was diesel and AdBlue only, but even then it looked like it was blocked off because they just put new concrete down. But yeah, it's a bit of a mud hole here at the moment. I'm not sure if this will be open now. It should be, because this was a few months ago now, but this would be a good little spot to stop if you don't get fuel at the border crossing, because that is ridiculously expensive. Hopefully this is a lot cheaper. If you can get an extra 80 k's down the road, I'd suggest coming here, if you're coming from the South Australian side, that is anyway. Or even if you're heading over to South Australia, get fuel here before you get to the border crossing. The people inside are really nice. Got a nice little steak sandwich in there. They were a bit light on supplies. I don't think they had anything delivered for a while, but yeah, it was pretty good. Come across this little old, I think it was a Austin Healey, or MGT, I think it was actually. Alrighty, I am currently in Norseman. So I made it across the Nullabor from this morning, going from Nullabor Roadhouse to here. I was about 900 k's. Now, I was planning on camping tonight, but as you can see, I've got crap everywhere. That's because the last 2 hours running into Norseman, I got stuck in a massive electrical storm. Lightning all around me, rain coming down everywhere, water everywhere, and the campsite that I had picked, when I pulled in there, pretty much had a river flowing through it from all the rain in the last 2 hours. So I'm like, oh great. So I just punched on, it was like an extra 80 k's into Norseman, and made it here, just at the little motel at the servo, which is not cheap. The room that I paid for in Byron Bay, which was way nicer than this, was way cheaper. But location, I guess. They can charge what they like, because we're in the middle of bloody nowhere. Little update. My wrist is absolutely killing me from catching the bike. Still got the chunk taken out of my finger. The bike is booked in to Ducati on Monday to go through it, just give it an oil change, have a look at the switch, see what needs to be replaced, and a couple other things, which means I will not make it to Steep Point in time. So these are a little bit annoying, but I sort of got to look at it another way. It's like, it gives me an excuse to come back and do another trip. I've already planned it in my head. Just got to put it on paper and do it at some point. Now, today was not good at all. Started off all night thinking about how to get the engine light off the bike, what's going on with it. Is it the fuel module? Is it bad fuel? I didn't know. After resetting it last night, it still didn't go off. I tried it again this morning. Started up, didn't want to work, and then I was about to pull the fuses, which you've seen in the video previously, and it started, engine light was off, worked fine. Well, cool, we're on our way. At this point, we're going to make it to Steep Point. Got to the South Australia, Western Australia border at the fuel station there, was filled up the bike, was pushing the bike out of the way so other people could come fill their cars up. Slipped on some gravel and some diesel, the bike went down, like didn't hit or anything, I caught it, heard a crack in my wrist, and managed to get the bike back up. And then when I looked down, there's all blood pouring onto the ground. Didn't know what it was from. Obviously from a big flap that's missing now from the tip of my thumb. I don't think I've got fingerprints anymore, but we'll see later. That's, yeah, an issue. And then when I rang back Ducati, they said, yeah, they can fit me in on Monday. So that's screwed my chances of getting up to Steep Point and back down in time. Because I'm still, even from here, I'm still 700 odd Ks out from Perth. So still roughly a little bit more to Steep Point. If I was like desperate to get there, like I needed to get there, yeah, I could get there. But with all the things that have happened today. Oh, and another thing, when I went and got a burger at one of the little takeaway places, they asked what I wanted. I said, just chicken burger, lettuce and mayo and some cheese, thanks. All good, no worries. It comes out, it's a chicken burger with carrot, tomato, pickles, barbecue sauce. And it wasn't the wrong order because I was the only one to put an order into the kitchen and I was the only one standing there ordering food. So, yeah, anything that could go wrong definitely did go wrong today. Hopefully tomorrow's a bit better. Hopefully this rain stops and we can fang it into Perth, find somewhere to stay and get these issues fixed. Might even have to pop into a hospital, get a little bit of a scan just to make sure. But yeah, lucky it's not the right hand, but then again, Ducati does have cruise control. So there's one for cruise control if you do damage something. Or at least it's got quick shift, so I don't have to pull the clutch in as much. Just go bang bang down with the foot and we are good to go. Anyway, I'm going to get some dinner and finish drying out all these clothes and stuff. Well, this is one of those times that you wish you had the camera going, because what just happened then was a bit nuts. Just pulled over. I'm about 50 k's south of Coolgardie. I left Norseman this morning. It's just been misty rain the whole way. Just coming up the road, 110 zone, truck coming the other way, or road train coming the other way, 110, and he blew a rear tyre. So it happened probably 20 metres in front of me. The rear tyre just boom, off it goes. So I start to slow down. Front of the bike dips down, which was lucky because then I just got all this shrapnel of rubber come at me. It managed to miss the bike everywhere, I don't know how, but one caught me like right here. That's the mark from it. There's probably another one there too. But yeah, if you've ever been hit by a rubber bullet before, that's what it felt like. If you haven't, bloody hurts. So I don't bruise easily, but we'll see what comes of that, because that was, that one hurt. Yeah, another story, another thing happened this morning, but I'll talk about that later because that was just nuts. Yeah. Everything seems to be going good on the bike today. So I got fuel from the Ampol at Norseman because they kicked me out of the BP servo at Norseman, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I'll feel that one in a couple of days, that's for sure. Alright, so not much happened yesterday, that's why I didn't film anything. It was very misty rain, and I just went from Norseman up to Southern Cross, and I've got 350 k's to get to Perth, I think it is, so pretty cruisy day. Yeah, well, not much happened yesterday besides getting kicked out of a service station and nearly getting taken out by an exploding truck tyre, but you've already seen exploding truck tyre. The story of the service station. Okay, so I stayed at BP Norseman, so it's the service station has a accommodation area at the back of it. Very expensive for what it is. A bit of a rip-off. If I'd known earlier or got there earlier and wasn't in a hurry to find somewhere, I would have gone 200 metres down the road to the caravan park. But in the morning, I go to the service station, line up the fuel bowser to get fuel, go put in the bike, nothing comes out, the pump doesn't even start up. I try next pump, nothing comes out. I go inside, drop my key off, explain to them that the pump's not working. And if you've ever seen the Drew Carey show, there's a character on there called Mimi. Imagine her, but late 20s and French. That's the, well, I better say, woman that I'm dealing with. Her best answer to that was just go out and try again. So I go out, let it come back. She goes, all right, I'll reset it this time. You go out and try it again. Go out, try it again, nothing happens. I go back inside and she's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I'm like, well, it's not my job to fix it. And then she starts carrying on like, how dare you start yelling at me and carrying on. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. It's not my job to constantly go back and forth to try and get your pump started. How about you come out and have a look? And she goes, and just starts mouthing off in French. And I know a little French, and she called me a mother effer. So I explained that back to her that in French that I do speak a little French, and her mouth just hit the floor. So I get left by giving her the good old Aussie saying, calling her a useless C-bomb, and told her to F off, and her mouth's still on the floor. But yeah, like, it's your job to come out and fix the pumps. And she's like, you get out of here, you get out of here, you get out of here. I'm like, oh, whatever. So if you're coming into Norseman, bypass the BP, go straight down the road, hang a left, 200 metres, there's a brand new Ampol service station right next to the caravan park, and the lady in there was very, very nice. Alrighty, just going to go take the bike to Ducati now. Be interesting to see what happens when it starts up, if the check engine light's going to come on again, because it's only happened after I've got fuel, like 10 k's down the road, or when the bike's been cold. So we'll see what happens. I'll get a bit of a view through Perth, through this thing down to the shop, but first I start it up and then we'll get out of here, drop the keys off at the front, and I'm changing hotels tomorrow as well, so might be a difference between when I drop this bike off and then next time you see it in a garage. But yeah, fun. So let's start this thing up. So as we ride into Ducati Perth, let's just go over the trip itself. So I've been back for a little bit. This is just obviously a voiceover while I'm editing, but when you look back and go through all the images and you're like, well, it was a pretty good trip, but when you're out there doing it and everything keeps breaking down, you're like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right way? There's a few things that I wish I did do differently. Obviously not listen to the people in Aminka and go up through Cordillo Downs. That's probably one of the big things that I'm sort of kicking myself about. Another thing was out in the outback, just run it on 91, because 95, 98 out there, it's just got all the additives in it, or mainly ethanol, just to bring it up. So now I've got the process of taking the bike in for the 30,000k service, and most likely it's probably going to need new injectors and all that fun stuff, but I'll worry about that when it gets to it. The bike's been actually just stored away in the shed for the last couple of months. Haven't done a lot to it. Since I've been back, the tyres are just completely degraded, the Motors tyres, so I've had to order some other ones, and they should be here actually next week. But in the meantime, I did film a trip on the way back. I'm just in Perth here for the next week. I'm going to change hotels after I drop this bike off, and then there'll be a quick little video on the trip back. I did a little bit, not too much. It's probably going to be a bit more of a montage of things. But overall, like, the bike kept going no matter what. Like, I didn't have a mechanical breakdown. There was just a few spots where it was running absolutely terrible. And it can only come down to the fuel, considering the bike went all the way out the east coast. Not a problem, filled it up 95 every time I did. And just absolutely gunned it, especially the second day, which was from like Canberra to Byron Bay. That was like 10 hours straight at like 110, we'll say plus kilometers an hour in certain areas, but for legal reasons we'll say 110. So it was just the stuff in the outback. Now a lot of people say, like, especially when it comes to cars, like, oh, I want a petrol, more reliable. No, in the outback, diesel's all you're going to get. And yeah, from previous experience, like with cars, I've had more issues with petrol than what I have with diesel, especially in Australia anyway. Yeah, it's a nice little run in the top end of Perth. Well, I think this is a place called Midland, which, from talking to a few people, it's a little bit of a dodgy area, but seemed alright when I was there. I didn't have any issues with anybody. Stayed at the Quest Hotel when I was there. It was pretty good actually. Massive shower head in the room, like I nearly drowned. Like biggest shower I've been in for a while. These guys here at Perth Ducati were really good. They got the indicator stalk fixed within the week. They did a full bunch of tests on it, couldn't find anything wrong with it. So the only thing we can put it down to was bad fuel. Well, I hope you liked the little series that I had going here, and just keep an eye out, because I've got a few other things coming that it's not quite motorbike related, but it's still mechanical, because I need to do few things when it starts raining and more in the winter time. So I've got a couple of things coming which, if you're into, let's say, four-wheel drives, it's going to get very, very interesting. Anyway, have a good one.